Last week you talked about prior written notice. If we get prior written notice and disagree with the decision, what are our options?
Well, I guess that would depend on what the prior written notice said. But like I was thinking about my cases this morning, and it's funny, I have one case where I know they said the family withdrew their student, and I can't remember whether, it was in a letter or a prior written notice. I have to go find it. But if it is in a prior written notice, you can either respond to the prior written notice the way you'd respond to an IEP in writing, tell them why you disagree, or you can request another IEP meeting to discuss whatever the issue is that you need to discuss. The purpose of prior written notice in my mind is sort of fairness and clarity. And prior written notice is supposed to be given every time the district agrees to or fails to do something with respect to the issues of eligibility, um, goals, services, and placement. Okay. So that pretty much, um, an assessment. So that pretty much covers it as far as when districts should be doing these PWNs. They don't do them nearly as often as they should. The districts that have their legal act more together do them more often in cases because they realize legally it protects them. So when you get a prior written notice from the district, you got to read it very carefully, and you got to look at what it is that they're saying, and you got to consider, like, why is it that they feel it's important to tell you this now? Um, Districts were supposed to send out a PWN when school closed, right, in March. Many of them never did it. Many of them did it months late. But that would be one example, right? They're changing the delivery of services to the student from face to face learning to a distance learning mode. That's considered to be a change, I guess, in placement or services, triggering the need for either an IEP or a prior written notice. But I get PWNs on all sorts of things, and I encourage parents to use them because parents frequently leave IEP meetings and they're understandably frustrated because they kind of got the runaround. They've asked an intelligent and fair question and they're just told no. And when somebody does that to you, and they patronize you like that, it makes me feel like I'm about 4 years old and you're talking down to me. And I don't allow myself to lose my cool anymore. I still find it internally irritating. But I think the way to handle it is to push back and say, you're not just allowed to say no to me. This is a process. You have to give me notice. I'm entitled to know what you believe the issue was, what your decision is, and what resources you relied on in making your decision. So if you think about it from a school district perspective, let's say you ask for an IE is a bad example. What would be a good example? Let's say you ask for a tutor at the IEP and the district says, no, I don't think it's necessary. And you say, well, I'd like to discuss that. And they say, well, our answer is no. The response to that is, please give me prior written notice. Then if they give you the prior written notice and you don't think it's complete enough, you can write them back and say, your prior written notice is incomplete for X, Y, or Z reason. Ultimately, a prior written notice becomes a piece of evidence in a due process, and you could have an allegation that says the district's February 15th prior written notice denied student a FAPE because, and then you talk about why it denied him a FAPE, just the way you would with an IEP.
Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.